Welcome, Rebecca here. This is my series for all the women who are in perhaps a hormonal transition, going through perimenopause, menopause, or post-menopause, because things keep shifting then, and also perhaps have a trifecta of autoimmune, inflammation, burnout, thyroid issues, adrenal issues. For me in particular, it's long COVID, which has now cascaded into crazy inflammation, autoimmune flare ups, eczema, so many things. So, welcome. This video today is naming the shame and the grief that we sometimes feel. And I want to give you some coaching guidelines, some mindset shifts so that we can move through this period really resourced and just knowing that things need to maybe shift or we have to do things a little bit differently. And also today, let's just have that conversation. Let's just normalize that we are not operating with the same amount of energy, the same amount of drive, the same bodies that we used to, the same go get 'em mindsets, because we're in survival mode and we just need to get through the day. And that's okay. That's enough. Okay. So to keep me on track, I have some notes, but I'm glad that we're having these conversations. I'm happy to be somebody to come on here and share. Sometimes it feels kind of cringe to share my story in such an open way, but I really do want to name all the things that we go through. And there is a shame. I felt it. That's why I did this video. There's a shame that comes when your body isn't what it used to be, your energy isn't what it used to be, and your capacity, like what people expect from you. They're like, you can do this and this and this. And you're like, I can't. Or like even yourself, you're like, I used to be able to do this, this, and this, and now I just can't. And there's a shame. There's a shame that you feel and not being able to do what you used to be able to do. There's a shame in knowing that we need more rest, that sometimes we need more support, that sometimes we need more space. Like we just need everyone leave us alone. We need a little bit of space to just come back to center. And it can be embarrassing when you feel like you can barely handle anything. For example, your partner has a big work week and he's expecting you to do the things you used to be able to do, get the kids to school, make their lunches, drive them here, drive them there, go to work, do your workouts, be super cheery when he gets home, whatever it is. I mean, I'm painting maybe an abstract story, but I mean, honestly, our ability, and again, I use this word capacity, where we used to be able to handle all those things. Now, what we can handle feels very small. And that's normal during this period. Now, if you're someone who's just flying through perimenopause, you feel wonderful, you don't even know what I'm talking about, it's still valuable to hear, because someday you might, and hopefully you go through, when you do go through anything, a trauma of a parent dying or a divorce and hormones collapsing or something happening, I want you to feel this is normal. So continue watching. There's also worry. Has anyone else felt really worried or fearful that you are now actually lazy? Like, is this who I am now? Am I really this lazy? Am I really this, for me lately, because I've lost a lot of energy in my muscles and I get ridiculously sore after a workout. Am I really this weak? I mean, I've been working my whole life towards getting strong. Is this really there's a fear, there's a worry that this is like permanent. Or there's a worry that am I really trying hard enough? Can I just try harder? So if you're dealing with, if you haven't watched any of my videos, this is my first one tuning in. This is part of a series. So go back and watch the first one where I talk about how your nervous system capacity. So there's all these pillars that kind of hold us up and keep us healthy and energized and vital. But as soon as they start to go, maybe we have a lot of inflammation from like a serious injury. Maybe again, it's like long COVID or a really bad traumatic experience. Maybe it's just the piling on, the deck of cards is getting so big from all the things that as a midlife woman you're saying yes to. Or maybe it is the hormonal complete change as we start to lose hormones, other hormones start to swing. Again, there can be some autoimmune. Oftentimes things that were dormant, maybe thyroid or adrenal stuff, it really does show up now because the hormones drop. We're losing a pillar, so other things don't have as much support or balance in the body. And this is when the overwhelm and the burnout really start to feel. And I want to let you know that this is not a mindset issue. This is not a motivation issue. This is not because you didn't try hard enough. Okay. Trust me, I know I've tried so hard my entire life to get all the things right. And I haven't done anything wrong to get to where I'm at. And you haven't either. You haven't done anything wrong if you're feeling collapse. So your worth hasn't changed. You haven't done anything wrong. You're, like I said in the previous video, your nervous system is now prioritizing survival, not performance. Say it with me again. My nervous system is prioritizing survival, not performance. And that might look like a very powered down battery. That might look like weight gain. That might look and feel like inflammation, brain fog, darker moods. I mean, survival doesn't always mean darker moods, but there's a certain, when you're in survival mode, that cues to your body, am I safe? Is this like a good world to live in? So just so you know, you are prioritizing staying alive and not being at your top performance. And it's really unfortunate because oftentimes this is when in our careers, in our family life, where the most is needed from us. It's like, isn't it ironic? So I just wanted to name all this. There is a grief, there's such a grief in mourning the woman that you were. And I don't want to cry, but like me and my best friend were talking about this, like the way that your looks do start to change. I mean, I don't want to be all about looks, but there is a grief there. There's a grief around the person who used to run the races and say yes to everything and just always be available and helping and energized. And like this, maybe you were just felt like you were a better wife or a mom or a daughter or a friend. The capable one, you were always the capable one. And now you just don't have the energy. You have to prioritize like getting through the day, like I said, instead of being capable. And there's a fear underneath the grief. Like I said, there's a fear that your partner is not going to understand you and start to pull away this version of you. There's a fear that the people who hired you or the people who are depending on you at work are starting to feel disappointed. There's a fear when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself anymore. What is happening to me? And I want to share, I just want to say it's hard, but trust me, you're not becoming less. This chapter of all these things happening and this burnout, you are becoming different. And the season requires honesty, not heroics. Okay. So let's talk about mindset. I want to talk about how we can reframe and like give ourselves so much permission, so much grace. Doing your best right now might look different because what we're trying to prioritize is what we call in the autoimmune and the long COVID community, it's called pacing. So pacing isn't the same, in nervous system capacity. For example, hot sauna, as I point to my hot sauna, cold plunge, you're doing something that stresses you out to increase your capacity. Now, in situations with hormonal chaos, and especially autoimmune thyroid or adrenal fatigue. Put yourself in any of those boats, long COVID. We can't do that. That's just going to send us over the edge, and it's too much. And then we crash and we're out for a couple days. And it's really hard to start to go forward because you're just like, maybe one day you feel well enough, you do a sauna, a cold plunge, then it's 3 days in bed or 3 days of immense, like just not feeling well. And so we have to do what's called pacing, where we have to just stay a little bit behind what we can handle, but we have to keep showing up, to stay on the couch, to stay in bed, to stay very still doesn't serve us if you're on the healing journey. It depends where you're at, of course. If you just had an accident, if someone has just passed away, like everything is nuanced, and that's what most coaches miss. So everything I say today doesn't apply as a black and white statement, but in general, we do this thing called pacing. And it means that you're doing your best each day to get through the day feeling good without crashing. So for me, I was showing up for my workouts, but I wasn't actually lifting weights, and I was taking way more breaks. The movement of just like doing things without weights, practicing squats, it got energy moving through me. And sometimes it was too much and I didn't realize, but for the most part, it's kept me on a healing journey. It's actually helped. So things like yoga, walking, bar without weights, shorter workouts, more rest is actually really helpful. So things like that is called pacing. So it's really just meeting yourself where you're at and not giving up. So a giving up mindset is like, fuck it, I can't do this. I'm just going to, give up. You know what that's like. Where doing your best is like, I have permission to take a break. I have permission to start a workout and stop. I have permission to go for a walk and come home earlier. I have permission to nap, but I'm still going to try to get up early to get my morning meditation done. I'm going to try to focus to eat very macro balanced in a way that supports my blood sugar, because that's so important. And if I really don't have the food or the energy, I'm just going to make a snack plate, and like that's good enough. Okay, so really asking, instead of saying like, what's wrong with me, it's like, what do I actually need right now? Like, what is it? And it's hard to do. I know. It's hard not to go into the doom spiral of what's wrong with me, but all you can do right now is really show up with an honest heart, doing your best. You don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to push. Oh, and last thing I wanted to say, because we're coming at that 20-minute mark, for tips on how to manage this, is making sure that I said this in other videos, is just having really good boundaries and inner authority around your saying yeses and nos. And that doesn't have to be with other people. It's just with yourself. So it's like, I used to do this, this, and this, but like today, what do I do? Does that make sense? Instead of 5 years ago, I could wake up at 6, get a workout done, be at work by 8, whatever the schedule was, something might need to shift. And what I want you to look at as you're going through this is, instead of like thinking, okay, for the next month, I'm going to do this. It's like, just waking up and don't look at your phone, sit down for 5 minutes before you do anything. And what can you do today? And here's the last thing is like, what would be the best case scenario for today? Getting through my workout feeling energized. That would be my best case. Eating healthy and having really good digestion and energy from my food. Looking in the mirror and saying like, you're beautiful. You're doing a great job. Having a really productive, loving conversation with your partner or your children at night, where communication is coming from a non-reactive, heart open place. Like, these are best case scenarios, and these are being a beautiful human being. And so if you used to be able to do 40 million things, and then this is your now best case scenario, please honor that and know what it is for today. Because tomorrow could be different. As you know, if you're in this, tomorrow is not guaranteed going to be good or bad, but it could be different than today. So today you're going to do the best with what you have. Thank you. If you are interested in anything that I'm saying here, I have been sharing underneath the link for this free bundle that I have. If you want to try one of my workouts, if you want to hear about how I coach women through nutrition in midlife, and if you want to try one of the Kundalini meditation nervous system reset videos, there's a whole bundle where I share them with you. I also have an online virtual studio where I work out with my clients. You can also do the on-demand. It's like the Netflix of wellness. I have so many beautiful videos from nutrition, workouts, Kundalini, Pilates, heavy lifts, booty, all the things. And you can also work one-on-one with me. I can help support you if you're feeling like, I don't know if I can turn this ship around. You can. And everyone needs support. Everyone needs someone who's that one step ahead of them to give them a bit of a blueprint, a bit of a path, so that you can start feeling good in your body. And I know that the reason I have gone through 2 rounds now of long COVID where my entire system collapses and life becomes such a struggle is that I can be a better coach. Happened 5 years ago when I wasn't in perimenopause. And now here I am at 43 with hormones of someone much older than me. And is it genetic? Maybe. Doesn't matter. We don't have to make ourselves right or wrong over what the reason. We just have to work with what we have today. And now I just have so much more compassion and education and empowerment for women who are at this intersection of like anything hormonal going on and other things, and they're just feeling so burnt out and completely collapsed. I've got you. I've got you. I am your coach. So thank you so much for being here. Bye.